Hello, hello, everybody. So welcome to School of Vedic Astrology. Today we will cover Uttara Ashadha Nakshatra, which is located in Sagittarius at 26 degrees 40 to 10 degrees of Capricorn. So it is represented here by these 5 stars, and a Nunki and a Sela are 2 of them, which are the most bright ones. And the symbol is an elephant's tusk, so it really represents power and status, but we will see this a little bit later. And the deity are the 10 Vishvadevas, or the 10 demigods, which pretty much cover goodness, willpower, etc. So in the night sky, very beautiful in the later degrees of Sagittarius, and it is also believed that in Vedic mythology that the demigods attained final victory over the demoniac forces at some point in this part of the sky. And also in many ancient stories, we see that wars were started when the moon was transiting from Purva Ashadha Nakshatra here into Uttarashada. So when moon was transiting here on the ecliptic, many wars were also started to attain final victory here when the transit covers Uttarashada. So it is the attainment of a final victory or constant victory. So it's a very victorious position. But like every nakshatra also has a shadow side. So the nakshatra padas, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Mars and Venus are exalted here in the second and fourth pada. Jupiter is very strong in the first pada because it's both Pushkarana Vamsa and Vargotama at the same time. And Jupiter then in the second pada becomes debilitated, and Mercury is also in Pisces debilitated. The ruling planet is the Sun because, yes, Sun represents status, power, vitality. The motivation is moksha, Ayurvedic dosha kappa, Gana, Manusha. Orientation is looking up, facing forward. The quality is the fixed or the permanent, so it gives this permanent victory. There's also belief that any activity started when moon transits Uttarashada will attain victory. So this is really nice. The caste is Kshatriya, it's also warrior caste, so these people can be very determined. The guna is Sattva. So you got moksha here and Sattva. So this is really people striving for mostly equality. They are very much community caretakers. And then the power to give an unstoppable or permanent victory. And the yoni, this is a little bit the downside, is the male mongoose because there's no compatible partner into the nakshatras. The body parts is the thighs and the waist. Activity balanced element is air. So the Sanskrit root ashadha means not becoming tired, not to be overcome, not to be vanquished, and invincible. So this is the root. The Ashadha root is very victorious. And another ancient name for this nakshatra I found was Ishvara, and Ishvara translates as the supreme controller. So this is very interesting. So the meaning of Uttarashada means the second of the invincible ones, or the latter undefeated. So we got Purva Ashadha and Uttara Ashadha acting as a compatible nakshatra duo. And there's many others, but we will not cover this right now. So these Vishvadevas, so in nakshatra theory, we look at the deity to get a more how do you say, a more clear picture of what this nakshatra is all about. So there's 10 demigods. And these were 10 sons of Dharma and Vishva, and Vishva was the daughter of a genetic engineer demigod Daksha. And we see also in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that Daksha, as a punishment of Shiva at some point, was offered to have a goat's head. So he was also into this genetic engineering, this demigod. So the first son here is Vasu, goodness, Sacha, truth, Kratu, willpower, Daksha, ritual skill, Kala, time, Kama, desire or lust, Driti, firmness, forbearance, Kuru, ancestors, Pururavas, abundance and brightness, and Madravas, the peak of joy. So at this point, in Uttarashada, we see that this energy comes to a certain peak, and then we enter into Shravana, where it's a lot about teaching all the lessons that were learned from this intense energy, I could say, of Purva Ashadha, and then also Uttarashada. Now, a nice example of somebody who had Uttarashada, and don't forget that the symbol is the elephant's tusk, so it is about the sun's energy here, about status. So the elephant who had the biggest tusk, he was also the leader in the group, so there was lots of, and also the color, the size. This was all important to choose a leader into an elephant's group. So it's all about leadership, this nakshatra. And a very nice example is Abraham Lincoln. And we see also he was striving a lot for equality. He was a lawyer. He was the 16th United States president. But at the end of his life, he was then also shot. So one of his famous statements is that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. So we see that this nakshatra, they strive for equality in their communities and society. And Abraham Lincoln, by many, is considered to be the topmost United States presidents ever in history. He also removed slavery. So this is very interesting. And other people with Uttarashada, famous people, we got Napoleon Bonaparte. We then also got Napoleon III, who had Uttara-āṣādhā, Muhammad Ali. So you see also sportsmen with this nakshatra, security personnel, military personnel, and so on. So if we have a closer look here at his chart, Abraham Lincoln, here we see his moon in Capricorn, part here in Uttarashada, which makes it then Pisces Navamsa. So this fourth pada is also where Venus, but you see it's kind of the 6th house activation in the Navamsa here, the 12th house. He had opposition. For sure. So these people have opposition, but it's very difficult to defeat them. You actually just have to get randomly shot by a protester at some point. And the funny thing is that when he left his body, it was from the Rahu transit, the Rahu Dasha, the Mahadasha shifted into the Jupiter Mahadasha. So that was in the same year that he finished his life. So if he was not shot, yeah, his Jupiter Dasha here, especially the Navamsa position, exalted in the 10th house, 3rd house, Lord, 6th house. So again, yeah, the 6th house is pretty much involved here. Also, 6th Lord is in the 12th house in the D1. And unfortunately, yeah, Purva Bhadrapada, we know about the intricacies of Purva Bhadrapada. So, yeah, very interesting chart. I will not dive too deep in it, but there's many more things that we can dissect from this. So here, what is interesting is that the sun every year transits Uttarashada from the 11th of January into the 24th of January. And that is when sun, wait a minute, that is when the presidential elections in the United States are being held. So again, you see the power, the inaugurations, presidential elections, and then finally choosing a new leader, and that's then also the point where they inaugurate this new leader. So the sun gets a lot of directional strength in the 10th house, especially in the Capricorn part, but I would say also in the first pada, which is the last degrees of Sagittarius, and also Jupiter is very strong there. Now, what are the qualities? We see strength, courage, kind-heartedness, generosity, passion. Natives sometimes act with the utmost brilliance and at other times behave oddly in an egoistic fashion. They're very intelligent, logical, have a scientific thought process, imaginative and assertive, and they pioneer in new ideas and thoughts. They sometimes, or quite often, misunderstood and subject to criticism, but they tend to remain indifferent and stay joyous regardless. They're very intuitive, inspired, and make a good friend easily. So the general observation, you could say that these natives with Uttarashada prominent, so what is a prominent position is, for example, the sun position, in this case, the moon's position, Lagna, First Lord, Atmakaraka, etc. Or very strong positions in general, like when Raja Yogas are formed and exalted positions in the Navamsa. So in general, these people are workaholics. They're very devoted to service, especially in the first and in every pada, I would say. They're community caretakers. They have great achievements by building relationships. They have a great willpower. They're self-controlled. They're patient, righteous, and they are very much truth seekers. Professions in general, you could say these people are government officials, military personnel, if you have Mars in this position, lawyers and judges, also combat sports, bodyguard, security personnel. But what you see is also, because of this truth seeking, you see a lot of preachers, teachers, and a famous example is Pope Saint John the 23rd, who had his moon in Uttarashada, I think. And when you have Mercury there, these people can become very good consultants and advisors, also especially to rich people, well-established people, important people, business people, CEOs, and etc. So the Navamsa here, Padawan, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Like I said, Jupiter very strong. Is both Pushkara Navamsa, Vargotama, Capricorn, Jupiter debilitated, but Mars is exalted, Aquarius, Pisces, Venus is exalted, then Mercury is debilitated. So we have to always analyze the energies of positions there. So Mars is exalted in Pada 2. It makes these people be very victorious, determined, and they can catch the enemy by surprise, for sure. It's very hard to defeat them, these people, especially when you have strong Mars positions. These people will be very difficult to defeat. And Venus, when Venus becomes exalted in the fourth pada, they're very much multi-talented. They can become very rich, powerful, popular, and artistic. And then you see also the pada one is the Pushkara Navamsa and the Vargotama pada. And there's three positions in the nakshatra mandala which have both of these, Pushkara Navamsa and Vargotama, is Rohini 2, obviously, and then also quite interesting Punarvashu 4. So you might want to check that in your chart, because these planets can receive a lot of abundance, power, knowledge, and so on. So Jupiter, when Jupiter becomes debilitated in the second pada, it's like putting a guru swami into accounting, and these energies don't go along, and these people intend to lose interests, they get lazy, and they become very unmotivated. When Mercury is debilitated in pada 4, then there's also this striving for idealism, you could see fanaticism, bad advice, corruption, and all these things. But we have to look at other factors in the chart. So the shadow side is pretty much these people, because they're so hard to defeat, they can become arrogant, they become bossy, there's going to be conflict, and also signs of narcissism is seen here, but not so much as in other nakshatras. So in general, we got this shadow side here: arrogance, bossy, conflict, narcissism, and it's bad for marriage. Yes, these people, they intend to stay single for a long time, or when they are in a relationship, they can get bored quite easily. They lose interests, and they have secret desires, especially when you have Ketu there. It really makes the native just get bored and lose interest with its partners, and so these people can stay single for almost all their life entirely. And one could say it's due to this yoni here, because the yoni animal is a mongoose, and there is no compatible partner for the mongoose in the nakshatra mandala. So yeah, these people can stay single, and this is then just the downside. And also this arrogance is seen if you have, for example, a Saturn there, when the traditional values, because these people believe, they believe in the rights of people, they believe in their philosophies. So if these traditional values are not followed by their friends or subjects or citizens, they can become quite arrogant. So this is a bit the downside. And that was it for me for Uttarashada. So you can follow us on the Instagram link if you want written blog posts about the moon transit awareness and other fun facts of astrology. So we are growing the channel. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.